In this video, I'll show you how you can add login with Google functionality to your Streamlit app using Firebase as database. On running, we have a login button and users can choose any Google ID and see the user logged in ID is present here. And on logout, we get this login button again. So let's see how we can do that. We have to initialize our Firebase application. So we can do that by using this command. So here our credential certificate is present in this JSON file, and then I'm trying if our Firebase app is already initialized, then we don't have to initialize it again. But if that's not the case, then we are initializing it. And this JSON file, you can easily get it from your Firebase project. So this is the project I have on Firebase already. You can create a one easily. Then you have to go to project settings, then service accounts, manage, and here go to manage keys. These are the keys that I already generated, but you can create a new one and then click on create. Then you can download it and paste it in our current working directory. And then next thing is we will need client ID and client secret for our Google authentication. So you can get them from Google Cloud Console that I'll show you. And here I am using a Streamlit secrets method to retrieve my client ID. So instead of directly passing the IDs here, I am using a secrets.2ml file inside my .streamlit folder, and here I'm passing the client ID and client secret, and I'm using them here. So how you can get those client IDs and secret is you have to go to Google Cloud Console, and then you have to select a project, or you can create a new project if you don't have one. Then inside this one, go to OAuth consent screen. And here I had already created an app, but if you don't have an app, then you will see an option to create an app. So I'll just demonstrate you what are the required things to do here. So when you click on create a new app, then you will be required to pass a app name that I'm passing login here. Then you have to pass a support email, and here also you have to pass your email ID. Then we have scopes. So for this video or our login purpose, we will have user info dot email as a scope, and one is user info dot profile. Just add these scopes and click on update. You can see them here. Then save and continue. If you have test users, so if you are limiting your application to few users, then you can add their IDs here, then only those will be able to use it. For now, just move on, and then you can click on back to dashboard. Then we have to choose credentials. Here you will see an OAuth client ID option, and you can see there are no auth client IDs, so we have to create one. And this is a web application, and you can pass a name. I'm giving login. Then we have to enter a redirect URL here. So this will be the URL that would be your website. So when a user is logged in, then we have to redirect him or her to our web page. If you don't have any hosted website, then you can simply pass the local host address. I'll just copy and paste that here, then click on create. It says OAuth client created. Now you can see client ID and client secrets here. We need these secrets, so I'll copy that and I'll just paste it here in my client ID variables value. Similarly for secret, I'll just paste it here and save this file. Then the redirect URL, as I told, that you can pass the local host if you don't have a website. Then we have to initialize our client. So you have to use this Google OAuth 2 for initializing it. We are passing our client ID and client secret here. Then I'm creating a session state for email. So this would be set to null initially because we don't have any logged in user, and we will update it when somebody is logged in. Now let's dive into the functions that we need to run for the login purpose. The first function is for getting the access token, and the second one is for getting the email. So these are the methods we use for doing that. And then we have a method to get the current logged in user. So this one will check for the current logged in user, and these are all the required functions that goes. You can check for their details, but for now I'm just passing them here. So the basic concept is up to this part we are just getting the user from the this token and using this query parameter, and then we are retrieving its user's ID and user email using this get email method that we defined here. And this part is for updating our user in our Firebase database. So in Firebase, what we are doing is first we will try doing auth.getUser by email. This auth is from Firebase admin. You can see here. So now we already have our app initialized. Then in that app, what we are checking is we are checking for the email of user. If our Firebase authentication already have a user email with the email that we retrieved or the logged in user have, then it's okay, we are getting the user from here. But if it's not present, then an exception will occur and we will just create a new user with that user email. Then we are just setting our session state.email to the user.email. That is the email that we use in our Firebase application. Then just returning the user email, and that's for getting the user email. Now we have a function for showing the login button. So this is for login button. We are getting an authorization URL. So this authorization URL we will pass it to our login button, and when clicked on the login button we will go to the authentication URL. So this URL is we are getting it using this method, and we have to pass this information here. Then we are just running the get logged in user email method again to get the current logged in user. And at last we have this method. So this one is for running our application. Here we are checking if some user is already logged in or not. If not, then we are just running these methods for displaying the login button and getting logged in user. Then we are checking that if user is logged in, and if it's logged in, then we are just writing his or her email ID, and we are giving a logout button. When pressed, we will set the email to null and rerun the application. So let's try running that. I'm saving it. New terminal, streamlit run main.py. Here is our login button. Now if I choose a email ID and continue, and see, we are getting our email address here, and a logout button is also present. And if I press it down, then you see only the login button stays. So this login button was coming even after successful login. Then you can just do one thing. Now it won't come up. And for these warnings, you can either run your application using this or create a config.2ml file with and set the value to this. For now, let's check our Firestore authentication. Here you can see there is one user, that's the ID I used here for login, and this one is present because of this part. Here we are setting, we are creating a user. If not present, we are able to sign in using Google. That's all for this video. Thank you.